Hello everyone, welcome in short episode. This one gonna be about the how I'm planning to use fertilizer this year, and I'm gonna try to make it as quick as possible. Also, I want to mention why I want to test the no-dig method in my garden. So maybe let's start with that. From what I read on the internet and seen how people were using this method, there are three main benefits that I like about it, node digging. So first off will be the fact that you have less weeds as the time goes by. So effective when you cultivate the soil, you bring up the more weeds every year on top of the soil because there are millions of them in the soil. So with the no-dig, you actually put the compost on top, effectively covering the weeds, and you never cultivate the soil, so the weeds that are underneath have never chance to see the sunlight. So that would be the first thing. You know, in my case, I'm using a lot of horse manure, so I need to make sure that the composting process is hot enough to kill all these seeds, and we will see how it will go. The second thing, which is good about it, is that when you cultivate the soil, you tend to create different layers, and that may both inhibit the proper spread of the roots, which is supposed to go downward, you know, they might go sideways, and also may sometimes retain the water where you don't need it. You know, it might basically create the layer when the water sits, and you know, effectively you just want to have a good drainage. So that's the second thing. And the third one will be that by not destroying the soil and by putting more on top, you create soil life. And soil life is the one that changes nutrients that are normally not available for plants into the one that plants can take. So if you have a really good soil life, and then you just add compost and things like that, basically the organism in soil gonna give you the continuous stream of nutrients to your plants, because they will just change all this matter into the soluble form. So these are three benefits that I see, and you know, that's why I want to test the no-dig methods on my garden and see how it will go. Although, you know, it might take years to see effects, right? To build the organic matter in your sandy soil like mine, which is 60% sand, can take some time. So we will see. You know, we will see how it will go. So the first fertilizer we're gonna go through is poultry manure, and I'm using it because I applied horse manure with a lot of straw in it. Also, there is a lot of weed seeds, perennial weeds that are in my beds, because as you remember, I haven't removed all those weeds in last autumn. I just uproot everything. So all these count as a carbon, and they will tie up nitrogen while all the microorganisms are decomposing this throughout the summer. So I hope that nitrogen from the poultry manure, and poultry manure is the one that have a lot of it, will feed microbes and also the plants, because I think most of the nitrogen in poultry manure is already in the form which is soluble, so plants can uptake it straight away. So that's the one thing. Also, poultry manure is very rich in calcium, which makes your soil a bit more alkaline. From the other hand, as far as I know, the horse manure tend to make your soil a bit more acidic, and since I added horse manure this year, I hope that both will kind of like buffer themselves. Also, the poultry manure I'm buying was approved by Soil Association, and Soil Association is one of the bodies in UK which approve organic food. So you know, I'm not sure if it's better with results than all the other products, but what I like about it is that it gives me assurance that chickens from which this poultry manure has been taken were not one of the battery chickens, you know, the one that lives in the A4 paper size cages all their life, and they are being just fed like crazy, and all these conditions promote a lot of diseases, so they have to be given a lot of antibiotics as well, and these antibiotics end up in your poultry manure that you're buying. So You know, if you have some local source of poultry manure that you are sure of, that would be always be my first choice. But since I don't have anything like that, then I rely on soil association. So the second thing I'm gonna use is compost, and I will have two types of it. First compost is the one I'm producing in my back garden. You know, I'm using one of those regular black plastic compost bins, which is filled with my kitchen waste, cardboard, newspapers, and this compost will be only used for tomatoes, cucumbers and melons that will be growing in my back garden. Okay, so another compost I'm gonna use will be bot compost, and also it was approved by Soil Association, so even though it contains peat, you know, you have assurance that it was reclaimed. But also why I'm buying it, because it's not cheap. However, it's going to be only used for modules and pots, so I don't need too much of it. And I've seen test of this compost done by Charles Dowding, where he had really great results. And I think it's important to have young plants with very good root structure, you know, because this will help them develop further once they are transplanted into the soil. So that's the compost. Next thing is Comfrey and Nettle tea. What I'm planning to do two different teas, or maybe connect them together. We will see. Comfrey is rich in potash and phosphorus, so it's good for plants like potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers and so forth, the one that produce fruits. And nettles, from the other hand, have more nitrogen, so we might use them for brassicas. So the next thing we're gonna use is worm castings, and these are the ones produced on my plot. What I like about worm castings is that first of all you can influence what kind of nutrients are going into them. So I'm using, for example, a lot of banana peels, which gives me potash and phosphorus. I use eggshells, which gives me calcium, and you know, coffee grounds and a lot of greens, which gives me nitrogen. And also what's good about worm castings, most of all I think, it's that a lot of nutrients are available in soluble form, so basically plants can take the nutrients straight away. However, I'm not gonna have too much of it, like for the plot that I have, because my plot is around 180 square meters, so we're just gonna use it for heavy feeders, and I think I will use it at the time of planting. So I'm just gonna put some of the worm casting into the hole where I transplant the seedling. So yeah, that's it. That's what we're using this year, and you know, time will tell if the poultry manure and everything here is enough. Also, one more thing, I'm not testing pH this year because I don't really know which tools works the best for it. And I spoke with some other plot owners around, you know, they never had problems with soil being too acidic or too alkaline. I also grew some mustard as a green manure and it was fine. So we're just gonna leave it at that. What I'm planning to do is by the end of this year I'm planning to do proper soil test, full soil test, which will also tell me the pH. And what I'll do at that point is start using some tools, things that you can buy on the internet, and see which of these tools give me results that are the most in line with the lab test. I see you on the plot, guys. Take care, everyone. Bye.